Hello. Hello, thank you for joining. So today we're going to talk about the Vanguard Alchemist, and we're going to explore together the idea of why emotional intelligence is essential and why is it missing in our curriculum. The idea is we teach maths, we teach IQ, but we don't teach emotional intelligence or ways towards emotional intelligence. And this presentation is tonight about emotional education and how we can teach emotional intelligence in its different manifestations to solve identity, leadership problems, and problems in general. So by the end of tonight's presentation, you'll know ways towards learning emotional intelligence, how you could insert it and cover for what was missing in our programs, give an applied micro-curriculum and neuro-linguistic programming or storytelling practices participants can use tonight or in the following weeks. So many successful business people who at the peak of their glory yet wake up at 3 a.m. feeling empty, manufactured, and unhappy. Sometimes we've heard that it's 90% of us who reported no formal education in emotions. And tonight we bridge this gap. We try to show you how to think, feel, act with integrated social sustainable judgment. So this is SSQ, emotional ethical intelligence, EEQ, and practical AI fluency or IQ empowered by AI, which is AIQ. So this is the channel Praxis, and Nexus. Is to build up the nice ideas, the good ideas. Praxis is to put these ideas into practice, and Nexus is what is coming next, me in the future, through the Change Academy or the change process I choose for myself. Where this channel, there is a lot about mythic narrative meets evidence, and where ritual micro practices meet measurable learning. So why emotional intelligence is not optional? It's part of or core in our matrix of intelligence. So it's a composite of intelligence that we tend to neglect. In our studies, we don't learn how to express emotions, and without naming something, you don't know what's going on in your head or in your heart or your soul, whatever you want to take it. So we assume cognition alone wins, which is IQ. That's a false economy. We can continue to believe that emotion is just noise, or it signals that you are weak or vulnerable. Vulnerable is positive, by the way. So there are the signal they are the signals, emotions are the signals that shape attention, motivation, ethical choice, and sustained meaning. By emotional intelligence, in the back of it, my background in linguistics and neuro-linguistic programming is one of my focal studies or research at this stage of my career. Let me see if someone is writing anything. so far. Yes, so so what we need to think about is when universities teach technical mastery but omit emotional literacy, they produce technicians, not leaders. The literature is clear here. Emotional competence predicts well-being, predicts good choices in your life, predicts good relationships, predicts why you would go away or answer in a way and not the other way. And here what also Goleman's most important work focuses on self-awareness. I call it a brutal self-awareness. And this is because self-awareness is not just, oh, I know what I want this color, I want to buy this, I want this life. No, self-awareness is when you know your shadows, your dark sides, your hidden anxieties, the motor of your choices behind your relationships, behind your successes and failures, behind anything you intend to do in life, or you've done so far. It goes deeper towards your childhood, towards your adulthood complexes, towards your appreciation of your body image, your identity, physical identity, ethnicity, gender, sexuality. Many things are behind just one choice you make in your life, in career or in relationships. So relational effectiveness and complex decision making improve not only by IQ, but also mainly by emotional intelligence, that part that you don't know about yourself or about the others. So the first thing to do is to know yourself so deeply, to know how to approach the others, and also to know your limits, to accept them, and to build your a better, your nexus, your future self. So you know, for example, where your flaws are. Is it in expressing yourself? Is it in the presence of a group? Is it in a couple life? Is it with your image? Is it your maturation? So many questions are crucial for you to understand why you would affiliate with this line manager more than the other, or choose groups in society and not the others, prefer this friend, partner, house or husband, etc. So it's really fundamental. It's as important or more important sometimes than the IQ itself. But I see them all together, and this is why I built up the matrix. It's a power of intelligence combination that considers sustainable social intelligence or judgment, plus emotional, ethical literacy, and IQ empowered by AI. We cannot ignore AI today. It's no longer an option. So AIQ is the way forward for those who want to make the difference. So I'm checking again if I have more followers here. Okay. Good. So this is where we are at this point. So I'm defining the triad now. What's SSQ, EEQ, AIQ? Exactly what I mean by this triad, or the power matrix, what I call power matrix. They are three overlapping circles. SSQ, or social sustainable intelligence, a capacity to judge social systems, to read the room, sustainability trade-offs, and long-run communal consequences. Literatures like sustainability ethics, deliberative democracy, and social judgment. Then the other circle is EEQ, emotional ethical intelligence, granular emotion literacy, recognize, label, regulate, co-regulate, plus ethical sensibility, how feelings shape moral choices. And then the third circle, I put it on the top, and it's AIQ. And it's IQ empowered by AI. So IQ by itself nowadays, IQ literacy is not enough. Intelligence or quotient in itself is not enough, because we are using AI. It amplifies our competencies and our practices. So it gives quickness, so time management, and depth means more amplified judgment while retaining accountability and human meaning. So why teach them together? Because leadership decisions are social, technical, and moral, and AI focused without social judgment can optimize the wrong metric. Emotional blind spots produce ethical drift. And I give an example. If I care a lot about myself and I'm so absorbed about myself without giving time and energy to the others, means this lack of ethical behavior can drift into narcissistic behaviors or just selfish behaviors. So emotional intelligence, when you get it, you're capable of manipulating. So ethics stand there so to stop you from manipulating people or using your emotional readiness and capacity only for your benefit. It's fine to use it for your benefit and for the others' benefit. So that's the ethical side of it. That's what I call, after all this research and combination, that's the vanguard leader. That's the vanguard person who's going to integrate all three. So I give you 9 seconds to reflect. Describe one decision you made recently where AI or internet or a machine's recommendation felt right, but your gut resisted. What was the cost if you followed each path? So something you've done. I give you 90 seconds to think and reflect on this. You don't need an answer, but if you put a comment for me, that would be great, so I can build on that or answer you. Right. Now, emotional intelligence, emotional ethical intelligence is the combination of both. Let's see the mechanics. Recognize, label, regulate, then co-regulate. So how to find the answer to this combination? So to recognize means you notice internal signals. heart rate, for example, constriction, thought loops. So you have a chain of thinking and thoughts that go into your head and direct your mood and your reactions towards something you cannot control unless you recognize these internal signals, unless you master the language of your internal mind and where it is driving you. Then when you recognize these patterns of your thoughts, of your inside behaviors, you label them, you use precision. So they can be disappointment or over flaring of emotions of happiness or depressed or enraged. So when you label these motivational impulses inside of you, you name them, then you know where they are leading you. So now by recognizing the signals are more tangible, even though they are sometimes in your brain, heart rate or moving fingers or ticking or something that's obvious. But thought loops are a little bit difficult for some people to recognize. So the brain leads you towards something because it has been built into it. And this has happened long ago. Long ago, there was, for example, a trauma that has led to some negativity or a depression or anxiety, panic that you didn't recognize, but with time it has become your normal. And then that is not normal. Okay, that is something that has built inside of you towards these, what we are going to label, you're going to label by yourself. So these thoughts, you label them, it's leading you to do something wrong to others or something wrong to yourself, like being depressed in a moment where there is nothing to be depressed about. You are in a good place compared to others, but your thoughts are leading you to rage or to jealousy or to envy or to greed and wanting more. And you just have to recognize these patterns, name them, label them, then regulate them. How to regulate them? So there are many ways to regulate them. Physiology first, so you can count on breathing, orientation, movement, do something physically to stop the negativity, breathe and relax to stop the acceleration in your heart rate. Then there are cognitive refrains, or what other people, specialists, call behavioral therapy. Then co-regulate is the social act of intentionally helping others down regulate. So tone, your presence, your questions, your prompts to your team, to your classes, to your colleagues, to your children, to your partner. It's all prompting. What you say can prompt a whole thing, a whole environment and situation, a context where the others can really feel safe in your presence. So it's really important to also work on others' well-being, not only yours. It's very important to recognize physiological or inside my head, label, name, label it. What's this leading to? And then regulate it. You'll find infinite ways to regulate those, and then you co-regulate. Now, once you're in a safe place, or at least towards it in a process, you will recognize these in your children, partner, colleagues, in society, with friends. Okay, there is a neuro-linguistic programming or storytelling technique. We've been using storytelling from ancient ages, prehistory, before inventing many things in our human life. We invented storytelling. We told stories to accept things. We told stories to make the audience dream of something, to engage with the listeners in circles around fire. So these has developed so much. So it has developed into religious books, and then with time it has developed into other books, into poetry, into theater, into novels and books, and we have an infinite number of them now, but they are stories that can regulate your thinking and your brain and sensitiveness towards emotions. So use a short 2-minute story, for example, and use it with your children, your community, your colleagues, your family, your partner. So you tell a story. It's a short story, 2 minutes, not that long, but try to describe in that story about the manager who listened, or about your student who helped. So it is helpful to de-escalate a team crisis. Also, using language in a different way from saying, do this, where is this, do the table, help me, prepare this. We have been so hectic so far in our lives that we forget to tell stories, tell jokes, tell anecdotes. And sometimes you do it with your friend, but you don't do it with your daughter. Few weeks ago, maybe less than 2 weeks, in the gym, we were waiting for the session, and I know the lady, and I said hi, and she called me, and she was talking to a younger man, and the man said, oh, ladies, you understand your language, you have something together that you understand. I don't get that. My ex is in a very good relationship with my daughter, but my daughter calls me only for money, calls me only for needs. She doesn't connect with me. And so I had a conversation with him, and I told him, what do you do with your mates? You say things, you open up, and you say jokes, and you let go. Do you do this with your daughter? And she's adult. He said, no, I feel blocked because she blocks me with her anger, or with her she's closed inside. She doesn't tell me anything, and I can't reach her. And I said, because you need to connect with her. Tell her jokes, tell her things, not everything, but some of the things you say to your mates. And maybe if you do something with her, explore what she wants to do, and you find something in common, and you do it together with her, walks, camping, whatever. And he was like, there was a moment of recognition, and he said, I've never tried that. I have been always taken the distance because she was distant. And I said, but she is your child. Then you are the one who knows more than her. She doesn't have to know exactly where you are, because she feels she has negative things you said about you. So just break the ice with an activity, not words. And then after the activity, start telling her something you tell to your friends. Just open up. And another time, so this week in the gym, in the same session, he came to me, he said, we're going to Turkey together, and just me and her, like you said. And she started dreaming when we were organizing the trip, as you said, we were, that's the first conversation in ages. So this is one of the things that people sometimes don't know, don't think, don't do, but they are important in building relationships. They are sometimes, people are focused only on money and only on earning, and maybe money can buy stuff and buy some short term happiness, but it doesn't really connect emotionally. So now we move on to SSQ, social sustainable judgment and practice. So SSQ trains leaders to ask long-term community-shaped questions: who benefits, who bears risk, what's sustainable. So if we apply protocols in SSQ, who wins, who loses, what systemic biases are embedded, how does the decision affect social commons, so what's the reversibility of harm, who must be included in the deliberation. In simple words, when you decide about something, you need to think about others, okay, to create a social, sustainable environment. So in my job, it happened that we had this to organize in the start of our institution, early days, creating policies and calendars and stuff. What happened is we were considering Christmas, but then the policy was about Christmas. What's the question here? The question is, who must be included in the policy? Then we amplified this to include all main religious festivities, and we created a way for people to request for their sacred day a day off, and justify it weeks before, so they have the same feeling we have for Christmas. Okay, so this is an example. I'd like to ask you now to name one institutional decision in your context and run it through the 5-question of SSQ checklist. I'll copy paste these questions in the chat so you can use them. So I give you some time to use this chat here. Okay. Oh, I think it's too long. It's saying it's too long, so I'll have to omit one. And send it separately for you. Okay, so the activity is to think in terms of name one institutional decision, your school, your university if you're studying, or your organization where you work, one decision in your context, and run it through the 5 questions of SSQ checklist. So I give you some time to do that, few minutes. I think I'll give you just 60 seconds to start with one question. You can finish the rest later. Next, we'll be talking about AI, so stay with me. Okay. Now we'll move to AIQ. It's fluency, ethics, and practical sprints. AIQ is IQ amplified by AI, and it's not a tool worship. It's practical, ethical, and fluency, which is divided, or whose components are prompt design. Prompting is crucial, is core, is important. Prompt design, validation, interpretability checks, human in the loop governance. So human in the loop governance. Key principles here to discuss together is transparency. So we reach a conclusion. We need to be transparent. Who built the model? What data? Contestability. Can stakeholders challenge outputs? And constraint. Define guardrails and failure modes. So this is more or less the key. These are the key principles. Now, if we think in terms of AIQ sprint method, we think in terms, for example, of problem framing. What's the problem? Before answering, ask this question. What's the problem? Now, you decide what the problem is, you frame it, then tool agnostic insight sprint. That's the using the tool with prompts, model outputs, etc. Then reflection and the hero's journal. I like the hero's journal. It's your journal. You write it for yourself to reflect on your practice and what you're doing. Then ethical check and governance mapping. Okay. So now if we conclude this part today, leadership is a moral craft. We must resist the temptations of technocratic reductionism. Let metrics alone define success. No, not only metrics, not only data, not numbers, but also stories and interpretations. Emotional indulgence, confuse permission to feel with permission to stay stuck. Okay. We can teach emotions at scale without therapeuticizing every encounter. So what I have introduced today is Hero's Journal. I can give you the template if you write in the comment whatever needs. So if you tell me you want the Hero's Journal template or 3 criterion rubric, the SSQ checklist, I shared it with you, okay? And 2 NLP, so neuro-linguistic programming, reframing scripts, which is pattern, interrupt, plus reframe. Okay, so concluding, this is what we've been doing today. And covered. I want to give you more about this. I have more to say about this, and it's mainly regarding how to educate your children emotionally, how to educate yourself emotionally, your colleagues, the employees, your team, your friends, socially speaking. And from the top of my head, one thing comes: go back to storytelling. You'll prompt in those stories and you'll have a message. Be wise and choose the right one. And thank you for today. Bye. See you soon.